Holy wow.
Uh-oh.
They're everywhere.
Yep. Alright, so this is like the showroom, I guess?
Yeah, this is just like the front entry. We used to have our sales staff sitting at these countertops, 4 guys, but we kind of outgrew the space, and
Yeah.
so now when you walk in the front door, you don't see anybody.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of like walk-in traffic, or is it mainly?
Very little.
Yeah, it's mainly online.
Yeah, there's a handful of local customers that, they come by a lot to, buy parts or hang out or whatever,
Yeah.
but mostly online sales.
Okay. Awesome. What's your website, by the way? Let's go ahead and.
It's tickperformance.com.
Okay.
TICK performance.com.
All right. That's easy.
Yep. So yeah, we'll walk back this way. This is where all our sales guys are set up now.
Okay.
Generally, there's more people in here, but we're down one sales guy, and then the marketing guys sit here.
Yep.
But that's Chris and Dustin, and then Eli in the back corner. He's our sales manager.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, not anything spectacular to look at, but
That's cool.
this is where the sales are
You
made.
get to see who you're talking to on the phone
Yep.
when you call in.
Some of our displays that we've got for like PRI and trade shows and things.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, this is the machinist's office. That's Matt in the back corner. He's in
Yep.
charge of machining.
Awesome.
He's the guru.
It's like the R&D and stuff.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, you really can't see him, but behind that torque tube that's standing up is Chris.
He's hiding over there.
He's engineer. And then in this corner, he's not in here right now, but it's Adam.
Okay.
He's our other guy. He's probably our most experienced machinist because, like I said when we was talking earlier, we haven't done this very long.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in maybe 5 years.
Okay.
So Adam came from RCR.
Okay.
He's been a machinist in a few NASCAR shops, and I actually went to high school with him. So
Nice.
we've known each other for a long time. So
You had to steal him away.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of the setup of the machines when we change from one job to the next.
Perfect.
That's kind of what he does, and some part design.
Yeah.
This is the bill paying room. That's,
Oh yeah.
Roger in the corner here. Joey's usually in that back desk. He's
Yeah.
our actual business manager.
Okay.
But he's not here today. His daughter's got a softball tournament
Oh.
going on. That's my office. It's a huge mess.
Nice.
And then we're in here. This is the old man that gets on everybody's nerves since my dad ain't here anymore.
Awesome. This is like a assembly room, I guess.
Yeah, it's the assembly room. Mark, it's his name. He does all the assembly, the laser etching, or all the intercoolers, any of our shifters, anything that gets lasered for the logo. He does that.
Awesome.
You can see all the bits and pieces for different things we make. Some stored in here, so that's like the end pieces, I guess you'd call it, for the Texas Speed style intercooler that we do. All the shifter assemblies, master assemblies, everything's done in here. You can see all the bins.
Yeah, I saw that over there.
The parts before assembly. We're all through here.
Yep.
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry, we're messing up your workflow.
No, you good.
We're out here.
This is the actual machine shop. I don't even know how many machines we got now, 7 or 8 I think, but different guys are doing different things. We do some parts for other companies. Some of that stuff we actually might not can talk about so much. But yeah, Buddy over there, let's see what he's making. Looks like he's making the head fixture. Is that what he's doing right now?
Oh yeah.
This around. This is a tool basically that we make that is a guide or a fixture for drilling out your head bolt holes on the LS block.
Yep.
So I pick at a lot of LS guys since my car's a small block Chevy or the old style stuff. But the reality is LS stuff has a lot of trouble with head gasket sealing
Yeah, I've seen
with
that.
big power. I mean, up to 12, 1,300 horsepower is probably the greatest engine that's ever been built because you can make lots of power super cheap.
Yeah.
But once you get north of that, it's hard to keep a head gasket sealed. So this fixture basically takes it from the standard size that it is up to a 1/2 inch,
Okay.
faster. So you get a lot more clamp load.
Awesome.
Pretty neat tool.
Yeah. How often, like, you guys here, like 8 to 5, or?
I think, well, technically yes. I think a lot of the machinists come in earlier so that they can go home earlier because
Okay.
they're not like required to be here to answer phones or business hours. So they can be here as early as 7.
Okay. Basically 8 hours a day, you got where you have to run
Yeah.
24 hours a day.
No, I mean last year, coming out of the whole COVID deal, we were extremely busy.
Oh, yeah.
It was just insanely busy, wide open, and so all these guys were getting a lot of overtime and just really killing it while we could. But it's slowed down a lot right now.
Okay.
I mean, we're still busy, but not like we need second shift anymore.
You don't have to kill anybody anymore.
Yeah, everybody's not working 10 or 12 hours a day this year, or for the last few months anyway. This machine is it's like a lathe and mill combo, and I don't do the machining.
Yeah.
So Matt or one of the other guys could probably give you a lot better tour. But anyway, on this machine we make some of our our master cylinder parts, like our rods, the end pieces for the rods that attach to the pedal, and then we can also do valve spring retainers. We do our own valve spring kits.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we do valve spring retainers and locators on this machine and that machine.
Very cool.
So they're both lathes with the bar feeder.
Yeah.
So the bar, if you're doing a retainer, for example, it'll cut the retainer, and once it gets done, there's a little arm. You can't really see it, but it'll reach up there and grab the part, or once it parts it off of the material, it'll fall into that, and then it'll end up down in here. So it kind of just runs.
Okay, you just run, you just pull them out as.
Yeah, somebody will check it periodically, just to ensure, the quality and everything is maintaining, because tool's wired.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to keep pretty close tolerances on a valve spring retainer.
Oh, for sure.
For the most part, it runs, it feeds the bar in, and then once the bar's out, it feeds another bar in.
That's really cool, yeah.
It's kind of
To be that automated.
Here's a retainer that
Okay.
we would have made. Here's some shifter parts. This looks like maybe for the new Corvette. It's got to be because there's a knob.
Okay.
But we just released our shifters for all Corvettes C5 through C7. So we've literally just been selling those, I guess, or shipping those for a couple of days now.
Oh, perfect. So if you need a shifter for your C5, C7.
Yeah, we do shifters for F bodies, like a 4th gen F body style T56. Also fits Magnum F. The standard Magnum shifters we do, the Magnum XL.
Yeah.
We do a shifter for the TKX now, which is a new training. It's been out a couple of years, I guess. So yeah, we got kind of working toward our own line of shifters, I guess.
That's very cool.
This machine is making actually this part. It's just a tool. It's a socket.
Yeah.
We make this for I think it's for the C6 Corvette Master Kit. It's like a large nut capture. That's how it's held to the firewall.
Okay.
So, for guys that don't have a socket that large, they can opt to buy the socket as well.
Just as about the kit, you can kind of get the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
This is Randy. He's another one of our operators.
How we doing?
He's making the end tanks for our air to water intercoolers.
Okay.
So, like for the Holley Hiram.
Yeah.
So, looks like he's got a lot of them there ready to go.
They're pumping them out there.
Yeah.
Good focus. That's cool. How much aluminum Chevys do y'all take out in a week?
I wouldn't know, but we got like an 18-wheeler dump container, you know, out in the parking lot that we fill up. How often do they empty that thing? Probably once a month.
I usually empty this hopper here about every other day.
Oh man,
Probably every other day I'll
Yeah.
fill the hopper up.
that's great.
It's wild the amount of
Yeah.
shavings that we produce. But
On that bill of
Painted for
aluminum.
gold, man. Painted for gold back there.
yeah,
Bronze.
right. What's this machine doing right now?
It's-
Looks like it's off. That's got front spin machine and some rods.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Bushings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is that for the good plate? We make some bushings like that. We make our Chevy Cup bushings for T56.
Okay.
So I guess this is the bronze machine right now.
Right now. Until we go back to locators.
Okay.
And then that machine, it's actually making some stuff we probably shouldn't talk about.
Okay, yes, let's turn the camera back around this way.
Yeah, it's for another company. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they care or not, but
Yeah.
we'll let it slide.
There's always got to be some top secret stuff in these
Yeah.
machine shops.
Over here is just like our shipping area.
Yeah.
So Eric, Anthony, and Dustin, who's called Lucky, he's probably up in that corner somewhere.
Hiding.
Those three guys do all the packing and shipping every day.
Yeah.
A lot of the parts inventory we have is down here. Camshafts, we'll walk up here and
Okay.
look at it. There's some air water intercoolers that's ready to go.
On the shelf right here, right.
Camshafts that are in stock, we're pretty slim on cams right now. I think we got a huge order that should be coming in any day, but we sell a ton of cams. We don't stock every cam that we sell.
Yeah.
You know, we have cams for all different applications, but the ones that we sell the most of, we do stock. And then most of this stuff down here is just, I guess you'd say it's the stuff we sell the most of. So
Okay.
we keep it down here. And then upstairs, probably no point in going up there, but that's where we keep the majority of the inventory.
Storage. Okay.
This is,
What is Camshafts for? Like LS mainly, or a little bit of everything?
yeah, mostly LS and ULT.
Okay.
We do some ULT stuff,
Okay.
but mostly LS. We got a box full of comp cams back here that came in yesterday for the old LT, like what
Okay.
we've ran in our race car,
Yeah, yeah.
the grub worm. So we've been waiting on those things since forever.
Oh man.
It's like every since, you know, the COVID deal and, you know, manufacturing, whatever happened to it, materials, I don't know, but they've not had cam cores. It's not really Comp's fault.
Yeah.
They're buying cores from, you know,
Wherever.
one of 2 or 3 companies, the same as everybody else that grinds cams.
Yeah.
And there's just been no cores for the small block Chevy. Probably comes down to priority. You
Yeah.
know, what do they make the most of, or
Yeah.
what's the most profitable, or whatever. But yeah, we've had those LT1 cams ordered since probably July,
Holy cow.
and just now got them. And it's not the full order, which is kind of disappointing.
Oh,
'Cause,
open the box, you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
well, we decided to stock those and make a big order just because the availability.
Yeah.
It's like you could never make a sale because you could never give the customer an exact lead time.
Yeah.
And so in July, I just ordered like 10 of each of the 3 part numbers we sell the most of. Because selling those things is like 1 to every 100 LS cams.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not as popular, you know, it's an older model of engine, so
Yeah.
we don't sell a lot of that stuff, but we're kind of one of the last places that do sell parts for those.
Okay.
So we decided to just, get stocked up on them. And
So you can't help your customers at all.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like with our car and the popularity of it now, being that we ran that type of engine, you know, that we started getting a lot more customers for that stuff.
Yeah.
We've been a GM performance shop for always, and we've worked on those engines, you know, periodically. Like I said, it was, you know, one for every 100 LS engines we see.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to keep it alive at this point.
Yeah.
It probably don't make sense, but you know, I like those old engines.
Yeah.
And, you know, somebody's got to sell those guys parts, or otherwise it dies out completely.
For sure, yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, we'll walk back around
Yep.
through here. This is our transmission area where we do transmission assembly. These are like new transmission parts that we stock. Some more over there. These carts, basically each of these carts, that one's probably just a bunch of like new takeout parts, but for the most part, all these carts represent a build that we're doing right now for a customer. Some of them are probably ready to go, like this one. In a lot of cases, they're waiting on parts, you know, just like cams that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a lot of parts. So
Y'all, so I guess you guys have special gear sets, or what do you do to the transmissions? Just make them better?
yeah, we do everything. So like we could sell somebody a new tranny out of the box.
Okay.
You know, like somebody wanted a new Magnum, and it would suit their build. You know, that just as it comes, we can sell them that just as it comes, or we can take it apart and upgrade it all the way to, you know, like what we race if they choose so. But we do everything. I mean, if you have a 97 C5 Corvette or a 93 Camaro, up, you know, on up with the Tremec, you know, style T56 transmission, we will rebuild it, you know, to a stock level.
Okay.
Or, you know, however you choose to opt it out. We have different packages, different levels for basically every style of Tremec T56. So, some transmissions get, you know, just a stock type rebuild with the gears that they came with. Some get a G-Force gear set like we race,
Yep.
or PPG. We send some stuff to Liberty, and Liberty plates it. So pretty much anything, if it has to do with a T56 or a Magnum,
Okay.
we can do that.
Perfect. That's cool. I guess people can buy bell housings and everything from you if need be.
Yeah, we sell everything as far. We don't sell a lot of parts to like for the do-it-yourself guy anymore, just
Okay.
because parts have gotten so hard to get. It's kind of like what you could get, you needed to hang on to for builds.
Okay.
But we used to sell a lot of rebuild kits and, you know, just all the parts, but that's kind of went away for us. I mean, just we can't keep enough parts to even, you know, supply our own self.
Yeah.
So we stopped selling parts, but as far as trannies, we do sell bell housings from QuickTime, or McLeod, or even Browell, you know, if somebody's building a serious race car. Shifters we make like we was looking at. We make this billet front plate. You see it here, here. Billet shift forks. We make a lot of parts that go inside the transmission that you don't really see, but we make this little cover,
Yeah.
you know, with the order number for what build it is, you know, so that we can reference it in the future.
Oh, that's perfect.
It
Yeah.
shows you it's a level 4, and that's the actual order number that is placed.
I like that you put your label on there, what fluid to put in it.
Yeah, that's the number one question everybody has.
Yeah.
We experiment with some fluids. One of the things with the Magnums, you know, they rate those trannies from the factory to handle 700 torque.
Yeah.
But it's hard to put a rating on a transmission because some guy's going to put it in a 2,500 pound Miata, and then another guy's going to put the same tranny in a 5,000 pound, you know, truck of some sort. So ratings are loose, but with the fluid, you know, Dex 3 is pretty much the standard. For guys that are making a lot more power, we've been experimenting with a lot of different stuff.
Okay.
Comes down to, you know, it needs to be Dex 3 or Dex 3 compatible for the synchros. Like with our race transmissions that are face plated, or some people would call it dog ring style gear, we run like a 75 140 gear roll in those.
Okay.
So it clings to the gear a lot better. You know, it's a lot thicker. It seems to protect the gear a lot better, whereas the Dextron, the gears will burn up. We do things in, you know, in an attempt to prevent that, like with this billet plate. You can see probably there's a bung here. So we sell an electric pump that will just draw fluid from the tail housing where the drain plug's located. So you mount a pump under your car somewhere, and it is basically just recycling fluid from the back, and it goes in here, and there's a spray bar inside. Not sure if they're assembling one right now, but anyway, that spray bar has holes that will let that fluid blow out onto the head of the gear. So as the gears are rolling together, you know, the fluid is being squirted against it. So, and that helps a lot. Even the billet plate helps a lot because it just cuts down on deflection. So really the number one thing that happens to these trannies due to power is the input gear will burn up. So like this is the input gear of this particular gear, and this is not a factory gear, but this gear is riding against that gear inside your tranny. Of course, this is where your clutch is, so this is the link between engine and transmission. And this gear, you know, obviously is always under load unless you're in fourth gear, in which case fourth gear, you know, your main shaft and your input shaft become coupled together. That's why it's a 1-to-1 ratio, you know, they just turn at the same speed. But in any other gear, this gear is doing work. And because it's the gear that's closest to the front of the transmission, you know, when you accelerate, what happens to the fluid? You know, it's going to all kind of rush to the back of the transmission. So the spray bar is like bringing fluid back up and keeping, you know, these gears with fluid on them. This gear should be turning in fluid, but if you got a car that makes enough power to kind of push all that fluid, you know, away, then the spray bar helps. The billet plate's a lot stronger, so the gears, they can't deflect, which if you got a lot of deflection going on, then it's going to create a funky wear pattern. It turns into a tranny that has that whine, you know, and as you go through the gears, it matches with the engine speed. So that's probably the single best thing that we've ever done, or anybody maybe has ever done for this, you know, style of transmission.
Just make it stronger in the front.
Yeah, for we'll say north of like 800 torque, pretty much everything at that level should have that. And then, you know, you get up over 1,000 torque, or if you're trying to shift at higher RPM and things, then that's when you go to the base plated, you know, dog ring style gear set.
Yeah, I was thinking like the transmission in your race car, like how often do you have to go through it?
Well,
It just depends.
we've only ever broke it one time.
Oh, man.
Like to the point of like it's broke and it's not going to go down the track again. And that was this year, a month or so ago, right before Florida 2K. And we had run that same gear set, that same transmission, basically for 3 seasons.
Oh man.
Now, we take it apart a lot to look at it, because, you know, if you're traveling to Texas or Florida or Maryland, you know, you're talking about a 10 or a 20-hour trip one way. So we want to make sure everything's in tip-top shape before we leave. So we'll pull it down and inspect it, you know, just look for cracks and, you know, wear on the dogs, the engagement lugs. Anything that looks like it might be a problem, we would replace it, but we generally don't have to replace very much stuff. It's just kind of a, hey, it looks good, put it back together deal.
Just amazing.
Yeah, the tranny was new for FL2K because we busted third gear and busted the main case a couple weeks prior. So we just did Florida, we made 10 passes, and because our next race is World Cup, which is, you know, between Florida and World Cup's probably the 2 biggest or best events we do. So even though we just had the 1 race on it, we went ahead and pulled it back apart, just checked it out, didn't change a single thing, everything looked good. So put it back together, it's back in the car now.
Awesome. Very cool. So you guys do, I mean, is the transmission your main thing, or a little bit of it's just part of it?
I mean, as far as our main recognition, maybe, you know, profit-wise, I'm sure the parts with the shifters and the clutch hydraulics is more profitable than the tranny program. I mean, the transmission program allows us to use a lot of the parts we make, so it's generating sales that way. But in terms of labor, you know, it's not a super profitable thing to do.
Okay.
It's just something we love to do, I guess.
Okay. Well, perfect. And let's see. One last question. World Cup. You think Leroy's gonna come for you? Or, of course, they're gonna be testing basically. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he's not running our transmission, but we just sent him a shifter.
Yep.
He's gonna have all our hydraulics.
Yep.
He's got the same clutch that I'll have in my car. So I'm gonna be helping him with the tuning of the clutch.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, anybody I'm helping or they're running our stuff, we want to see them do good.
Oh,
so
for sure, yeah.
I hope he takes the record from me, and that'll give me some motivation to
There
take
you
it
go.
back.
keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for showing us around. And thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'm out of here.